The fine dining scene, look, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love putting food on the plate and just being so proud of it and just going, yeah, well, that's amazing. Like, it doesn't get much better, that feeling, when, everything sort of clicks.
Hi everyone, it's Dani Valent here for Dirty Linen, chatting food from all places, all kinds of people doing all kinds of fantastic things. We love the flavour. When I think about food stories, I'm always thinking about inclusion, about bringing people in, certainly not gatekeeping or shutting them out. And there are so many different ways to be inclusive in this life and definitely in hospitality. And one of the most fundamental is, can people eat my food? Now, probably most of us have someone in their lives that has allergies or intolerances to certain substances. Perhaps you are one of those people yourself. It's certainly not unusual. But today we are heading to Queensland, to Burpengary in Moreton Bay, north of Brisbane. And our guest is Kurt Lovell from Project Salubrious. Project Salubrious is a 3-year-old cafe, but Kurt has a background in fine dining. And I'm really looking forward to asking him about his business, why he's made it like this, and how it has been received. Kurt, welcome to Dirty Linen.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Really good to have you on the show, and your cafe is turning 3. I think milestones are certainly worth celebrating. Congratulations on, achieving 3 years old.
Thank you. It's been a big 3 years.
Well, tell us about it. Bring us into the world of Project Salubrious.
The world of Project Salubrious. Okay. So basically we started, I have to go all the way back 7 years now. We started with an idea. It was a childcare centre idea, actually. My wife, very passionate about Montessori education. We moved to Moreton Bay region and found that the Montessori education, there was no childcare in this region. So at that point in time, my wife decided she was going to build her own. And from there, I started doing a catering company with Project Salubrious. So basically the grain, the dairy, fine sugar-free come from our choice of going paleo once we started to have a family. So it started with an idea that we're going to build a childcare centre. The cafe wasn't even meant to be a cafe. It was just meant to be a kitchen to produce the food for the childcare centre. But as time went on, as I started doing my catering business, we found land and realised how popular the food that I was doing was, and then the idea of having a full-on cafe sort of sprouted from there. Like I said, 7 years in the making it took to build. We built absolutely from scratch, built to what we see today. We've done a number of things within those 3 years, achieved some really big goals that we set out to do. But the main thing that we were 100% focused on was utilising the local produce within the Moreton Bay region. I've been very fortunate to work with some beautiful produce in my time, and Moreton Bay definitely is up there with some of the best. It was really lovely to be able to utilise a lot of the local produce through the cafe, meet some of the amazing producers that we have in this region, and showcase them all. For our first birthday, we put on a huge farmers market, which was received well throughout the Moreton Bay community. Everyone got behind it because obviously I wanted to really put a spotlight on our farmers so that was really a real big milestone for us. We wanted to do a lot of dinners. So we did a couple of dinners showcasing our farmers. So that was for our second birthday. We put on a big lamb degustation dinner, which was really well received again, and it went really well. And this year we'll be having giveaways, and we've got a few other different ideas going on. We just haven't finalised everything as yet. It's been a massive 3 years, and in those 3 years we've had numerous seasonal menus. Like I said, showcasing the natural the produce that we have in this area. So we're doing heaps of different stuff like cooking schools and catering and etc. So yeah, there's been a lot going on in 3 years, that's for sure.
It certainly sounds like it. It really sounds like you've brought something different to the area. I mean, I love this idea of focusing on the local producers. Has that been a surprise for those farmers? Like, is that unusual for them that someone in the region is showcasing what they do?
Yes and no, I suppose. I mean, there are other cafes and restaurants who have the same mindset as what we do. Probably didn't take it to, what we had with farmers markets and doing dinners and etc. But yeah, I mean, they've been very grateful, and the farmers have been beautiful people, and they love telling this. And where they've always say they love telling their story, and the Burpengary and Moreton Bay community love hearing it. So in that sense, it's been very good.
What's a dish that uses local produce that you're really proud of at the moment?
Look, I think the one that sells really well, but it's our poached eggs, our big breakfast, basically. We're using kale, local kale. We're using cherry tomatoes. We're using Beachmead Butchery, which is like 20 minutes down the road. They are supplying our meat, our bacon. They do amazing stuff in-house there. Our eggs are coming from a farmer just outside Stanthorpe. He's doing regenerative farming. He's kicking goals out there, doing amazing stuff, and they're just phenomenal. We make a zucchini loaf toast that goes with the big breakfast. So, look, that simplicity of that dish really showcases what we are, and just stands alone of we don't have to do much to it to put it on the plate, and people seem to enjoy it all the time. Like I said, it's just utilising all the farms that are around the area. So.
And so, Kurt, you mentioned that you eat paleo as a family, and the cafe is gluten-free and dairy-free. Tell me a bit more about that. Because some people cook the food that they want to eat or that they feel should be eaten, and other people are sort of looking at a gap in the market and filling it. Tell me about your personal journey with food and how that's played into the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, when we chose to have children, my wife and I were suffering with a few issues with our body. I was covered from eczema head to toe. I have been all my life. And not one person said anything about diet. And obviously I didn't want my children growing up with the same issues. So we started looking at different foods and what foods did to your body. And paleo come up, and it sort of just resonated with us. So, we started cutting dairy out, and our body reacted. We cut out all the processed foods, and our body reacted again in a good way. And I think it took about, I'd say, a year and a half by time of having a full-on paleo diet for all the eczema to be out of my system, and, it didn't come up again. So, that sort of, kicked off the idea of, wow, so I'm feeling this good eating this style of food. And I've been never one to be pushy or, people choose their own lifestyles and choose their own lives. And I suppose that's what we are at Project Salubrious. We do what we do, and if you love it, great. If you don't, so be it. If it's for you, great. If it's not, so be it. So going down that path, that rabbit hole, I suppose, really opened my eyes. I mean, like I said, doing fine dining, it was a very, very, very different world. And changing over and playing with all these new ingredients. And I wanted to sort of recapture all my experience, but do those dishes that I used to do, but do them a dairy refined sugar-free version of it. So we started playing. I started playing with recipes, and it probably took about 2 years of playing with recipes and, working out what works, working out what doesn't work, and, get that solid baseline of, what works. And from there, we were able to really start creating different types of food. And that's where the exciting thing come into it for me. I love creating. I love developing new dishes. And yeah, from there, it just sort of took off. And like I said at the start, like, you know, we had a huge response when we started the catering company, and didn't realise, never understood, I suppose, how big the celiac community was until we actually opened the cafe doors. And we had so many people come up to us and just grab my hands and say thank you so much, and that was lovely. That was so beautiful to be able to give back to that community. So yeah, it was never an intention to open a celiac cafe as such. It just sort of fell into place that way, and you know, we do what we do.
So did you pitch it like that at the beginning, or did you just open a cafe like, this is the food I'm doing, you know, welcome all? How did you call it gluten-free? Did you call it paleo or grain-free, dairy-free? Or did you just, put some stuff on the menu and open up?
Absolutely not. No, I did not want to be classed as a health food cafe. That's one thing that I definitely said to Jess, our marketing manager. I don't want to be in that class as that, due to the fact that the bad name that style of cafe had for many years. It's definitely changed these days, but yes, we I think within our first menu we didn't use those words much at all, and the media got hold of my resume, and it had Michelin star on there, and it had was the apple fritters. They used that dish, and on that dish it said something about gluten-free, and that's when it just took off. So we had no intention of being labelled a health food cafe. All I wanted to do was do good quality food, utilise the beautiful produce, and showcase our suppliers. That was all I was trying to do, and just all I want to do is cook nice food and put it on the plate, and hopefully people enjoy it. So yeah,
I can really relate to that idea of the creativity in the limitations. You know, I feel like that as a writer, you know, sometimes you're given a certain word length and you have to write a story within that, and it's like, oh, that's so hard, it's so restrictive. But then, you know, you sort of work at it, and it's sometimes in those limitations that you really can find your most creative self. Is that what you found?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like, you know, there is a substitute for everything. You know, we have created so many different things on the menu. It's just phenomenal. Like I said, the rabbit hole, once you start going down it, and then you start creating and start, you know, just adding different ingredients together, and yeah, it's just such an exciting. It was really exciting, and still is really exciting every day. I love changing our menus. I love creating new things, and but yes, definitely. We don't have limitations, that's for sure. We definitely try as hard as we can to push the boundaries, I suppose.
What's something that you're really proud that you cracked, like something you're puzzling away at for a while, and now you nailed it?
Oh, wow. I really want to do a baked white sauce, and obviously white sauce is dairy and grain through it. So that's one thing, and because I wanted it for our chicken pie, and that's one thing that I took a little while to create, and then a bit went in the bin eventually a few times, that's for sure. But yeah, something simple like a white sauce and a gnocchi. I wanted a good quality gnocchi that was light and that could still hold up in a dish. So yeah, I think just the simple things, just like pasta. Pasta is another thing that I haven't really quite nailed yet, but we still get working on that. But just the simplicity, the simple things that sort of build the basis for most dishes. But yeah, definitely the gnocchi was one that I really struggled and worked on for a bit to get to what we got.
I think, some people think that food that doesn't use certain ingredients is less than, it's a poor option. It's just something you have just because you have to. But I mean, what kinds of reactions have you had to people coming in and looking at your menu? Have you had skeptical responses from time to time?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Look, I mean, not so much now. We're finally starting to get a good, name for ourselves, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful following. But yes, we've had many, many, many steps. It's come in, and all I say is just taste it. And it's usually the husbands. The wife is gluten free, and the husbands are more, your steak and meat, steak and three veg type of guys, and they come in and see our menu, and our menu is a little bit different. And yeah, they are. You can see it. You watch their reactions when they order the food, and then you watch them when they try the food, and usually after that, we've won them over. And like I said, it's all back down to the quality of the ingredients that we get. And yeah, they're, like I said, from the start, it has been a lot of skeptics, but I believe we've won a good chunk of them over, that's for sure. So.
That's really great. I bet you get those things like, oh, I'm going to have to go to Macca's on the way home and then to turn them around. Is it that kind of thing?
It is. Look, I mean, you're exactly right what you said before. The mindset of this style of food is very much, it's not going to fill me up, it's going to taste like crap, and not looking forward to having it. But once they have it, you take out all those nasties, your body actually feels full, your body doesn't feel bloated. You've got all the good stuff going through, and your body can actually absorb and utilize everything that is on the plate. So they have no reason to go to Macca's. After they've had their dish, they're usually like, oh wow, usually surprised and happy to walk out here and going, oh yeah, we'll come back, sort of thing, which is what we're after. So yeah, we've turned a lot of heads with what we do. Like I said, we've got a beautiful, beautiful clientele that comes through on a regular basis who really appreciate what we do on a daily basis.
That's brilliant. So, Kurt, it's not easy to run an independent hospitality business, perhaps especially when you're using different suppliers and sort of sourcing independently, producer by producer. And also when you're, perhaps it's a bit of a specialty what you're doing, even though I understand that it welcomes everyone and everyone can fall in love with it. Like, what are the realities of running your business?
Oh, the reality is it's hard. Like, when I say it's hard, to me, it's what I've done all my career. The big hours, the food from scratch, the great ingredients. So to me, it's just normal. But the challenges are there on a daily basis. You never, and it's very different these days. I mean, back in the day, you used to know that Thursday, Friday, Saturdays were always going to be huge. Monday, Tuesdays were going to be a bit quieter, and Wednesday would be, hit and miss. Whereas this day and age, I think it's very different. You never know. Like last week, for instance, we had one of the quietest days we've had in a very long time, and Saturday was the busiest day we've ever had. So just to have that diversity and just that is very challenging. But it's it's you just got to be very much open minded, I believe, and keep evolving, keep creating, and just keep showing up, I suppose. I love what I do, and I love creating. I love being in the kitchen. So it's I think with the challenges, you just got to keep moving forward and keep showing up and just keep evolving. People want change.
Why do you love what you do?
Oh my God, I don't know. I suppose I've knew I wanted to be a chef from grade 8. I knew I wanted to work in high-end restaurants, and I set goals, and I just set out to achieve them. Very much a goal setter, so whenever I achieve a goal, it's big kick for me, big tick for me. So I suppose having that thrill of setting out and really pushing to achieve what I want to achieve, that challenge of just just keep going until you hit that goal, or hit that, that challenge has been completed, and then moving forward, which is what I love. I love creating. I've said that several times, but I suppose that is one of my biggest drives. I mean, I love coming in here and just doing what I love what I do. So I suppose that's why I love what I do, is just being able to create and to be able to use some of the beautiful produce. And like I said, I know I said that several times again, but it's so true. It's just great.
Yeah, you can never celebrate produce too much, I reckon. I'd love to learn a bit about your fine dining days, Kurt. Like, you mentioned tough kitchens and long hours. What were some of the good things, and perhaps some of the things you're happy to leave behind about fine dining?
The good thing, I suppose, you've built. I mean, I was trained in an era where the yelling, the screaming, the carrying on was acceptable, and I suppose the good thing is you've built up a lot of resilience. There's not too much that gets thrown at me these days, which I can't handle, it was like, they were hard times. They were, you put your head down, you just said yes, chef, and did what needed to be done. And to have that mentality now is, amazing. It is. We're already 2 steps above a lot of other people, I suppose. The fine dining scene, look, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love putting food on the plate and just being so proud of it and just going, yeah, well, that's amazing. Like, it doesn't get much better, that feeling, when everything sort of clicks and it hits the plate and it looks stunning and everything tastes the way it's meant to taste. And that fine dining scene is just so much pressure, and it's just intense all the time. And I suppose you get very, very addicted to that very quickly. The big hours, you just do what needs to be done. And that was the mentality that I got trained in and got brought up in, and the resilience and just the I suppose the true grit that you learn, and you just get it done. Always, Tony Kelly used to say to me, I'll come in earlier and I'll leave later. You'll never beat me. And just to have that attitude all the time, it's just that's one thing that I'm really grateful that I learnt from that fine dining side that we went through. But yeah, it's definitely. It's not a long-term thing. It's like I said. It's not right being yelled and screamed at and carry on that side of the industry was at that point in time. I think it's very different these days. That's for sure, and in a good way. But yeah, it definitely built toughness, I suppose.
It's such an interesting one, isn't it? Because you're able to see, things that you've taken from that style of workplace that are of benefit to you, but at the same time, you acknowledge that there are things about that are not okay. Like, how do you balance that when you're the owner of a business and have staff that that you need to make the business run and thrive? But you acknowledge that there are certain ways that you were treated that perhaps are not the right way these days.
Yeah, look, I think it's respect. I think you respect your staff. You give them the respect and what they deserve. And I've, like I said before, there's not too much that gets thrown at me that I can't handle. And when running the cafe, and sometimes it can get crazy. Busy, it's just calming everyone down and just going, all right, it's just docket by docket. It's just doing the food, getting it on the plate and getting it to the customer. And, having that mentality where just pull back a little bit. Let's just slow it all down. Let's just do the job, pack up, go home, sort of thing. That's the sort of mentality that we're in at the moment. And, having that respect for I have a huge respect for all my staff. Obviously doing the style of food that we're doing, everything from scratch, it's a lot of work, very, very labour intensive. And, I highly respect the guys who I've got working for me, and I try and teach them as much as I possibly can. So yeah, it's just, I think having respect for them is the biggest thing.
What do you wish more people understood about the value of different spaces like yours?
Look, I think how much work goes into it. I get so many people who do like cooking schools, and afterwards they'll just go, I'm just amazed of what went into that to get to where we're at. And just see how much involvement it is to create the dish that they just enjoyed, I suppose. I suppose that's one thing that I get. I suppose people take for granted, they don't understand. And like I said, once they sort of see the cooking skill, they're like, well, hold you respect their sort of thing. So I think that would probably be the main thing that I would push for people to know more about.
And do you have to make your experiences more expensive than the cafe down the road?
Yeah, look, I think we are, we definitely are, sorry, yes. Utilising, small farms aren't cheap. And produce alone isn't cheap, and then the style of produce that we are getting here, just for an example, we use honey as our sweetness, a sweet replacement. You get one buying honey for $11 a kilo, where you can buy sugar for under $1 a kilo. So that sort of, that's just one comparison, but that sort of thing, the ingredients are expensive, but we try and, put as much into the food as we possibly can. And I think the customers feel that and understand that, and they appreciate it. Look, like I said before, we are who we are, and we definitely don't try and be someone we're not. But yes, we definitely are a little bit more expensive than most cafes. But like I said, the clientele that comes through the door do appreciate it. So.
Yeah, great. So interesting, Kurt. You've mentioned the big breakfast. What's another dish that you'd love to feed me when I come and visit Project Salubrious?
Oh, wow. All right, let's have a look. The Vietnamese pancake seems to be a big eye-opener, a big head-turner. So we do a crispy style Vietnamese pancake. We do like a pork larb. Serve that with scrambled eggs, and we do a sweet chili sauce with that, and we use some local salad mixes on top of that. That will probably be one of the standout dishes that has come to the menu, and people seem to love it. So, yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm all about that. So, add that to my order, and I'll see you at Project Salubrious. Congrats on 3 years, Kurt. Really lovely to chat to you, hear about the creativity and the intention behind your business. Wishing you all the best for the next 3 years and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's great talking to you.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.
This